almost annual Coles County Clash, the Scholastic Bowl edition. My name is Richard England. I'm the Dean of the Pine Honors College here at Eastern Illinois University, and we are delighted once more to host this great event for our local rivals, Mattoon and Charleston. I'm going to call in the two teams, run through the rules. We have a few people still arriving. We welcome your applause at the initial point and at the halfway mark and at the end, but in the meantime, we'll ask the audience to hold their applause. And it's my pleasure to welcome in Mattoon Green Wave. Come on in. And the Charleston Trojans. Come on through. Welcome. I'm going to briefly review the rules that we'll be using this evening, then we'll run through introductions, and we'll get started. We have two packets from the National Academic Quiz Tournaments Company, which provides most of the questions. I haven't made these up. And these will each be used during two 20-minute halves. We'll have toss-up questions with a 10-second limit for an answer. I'll prompt you before the time is up. If one team gets it wrong, the other team can take a guess, although they need to do so fairly quickly. And then we will have a series of 3 bonus questions to whichever team gets a toss-up correct. If that team misses a bonus question, they'll have 5 seconds to respond to bonus questions. Then the opposing team will have a chance to rebound with a 3-second time limit. For computational questions, those involving mathematics, the ones that you may be tempted to applaud for, but I ask you to resist that temptation, we will have a 30-second time limit for the toss-ups and probably a 10-second time limit for bonuses for each part of the bonus. Are there any questions? Then let us introduce the teams. If I could have the team captain introduce themselves and tell us who they are coached by, and then we will have each team member introduce themselves. So we'll start with Charleston. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Kiki Madlam-Easterday, and I am the varsity captain for the Charleston Classical team. Our sponsor is Miss Kidwell, and I will have my team members introduce themselves from the left to the right with their favorite kids' TV show. My favorite kids' TV show is Orange is the New Black.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Noah Stepp, and my favorite kids' TV show.
Okay.
I'm Blaine Homan, and my favorite kids' TV show is Phineas and Ferb.
Very good.
I'm Annabelle Worley, and my favorite kids' TV show is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I'm John Peterson, and my favorite kids' TV show is Wild Kratts.
Very good. I'm Richard England. My favorite kids' TV show is Doctor Who, but the old one. All right, over here.
My name is Josiah Donaldson, captain of the MHS varsity team. We're coached by Mr. Ite, and my teammates will introduce themselves from my left to my right with their favorite superhero.
My name is Calcifer Elliott, and my favorite TV show is probably Good Omens.
All right, could you just test your buzzer? There you go. Perfect, thanks.
Ephraim Annis, and my favorite superhero is Batman.
Gabe Freeman, and my favorite superhero is also Batman.
My name's Kendall Holtzhauser, and my favorite superhero is also Batman.
Excellent, thank you. Reminds me of a joke. You know, what if you could have any superpower, what would it be? Mine would be Cold War Russia. So, okay, it's a little obscure. All right. Because we are playing this game masked, I will ask you to enunciate clearly and feel free to be loud. I know you are little bit shy, but sing it to the back of the room. And if I ask for a repetition, it's only because my ears are a little bit old. So, without further ado, we'll begin our first 20-minute half, starting now. The first toss-up. A condensation reaction of phenol and this compound is used to make bakelite. This compound, which cross-links proteins and DNA, is commonly used as a tissue fixative in the lab. For 10 points, name this molecule, once widely used for embalming cadavers, that is the simplest aldehyde. Mattoon.
Formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde is correct. 10 points for Mattoon. And Mattoon will have the first crack at this set of bonus questions. The bosonic version of this theory was superseded by a theory incorporating supersymmetry. For 10 points each, name this theory of physics based on namesake one-dimensional objects. Answer? That's time, I'm afraid. Charleston? I'm afraid that's incorrect. It was string theory. So the second part of the bonus now back to Mattoon. String theory has been used to explain the properties of these regions of space-time from which nothing can escape.
Black holes.
Black holes is correct. Final bonus. Some versions of string theory predict the existence of these hypothetical particles that travel faster than light. Answer? I'm afraid that's time. Go ahead, Charleston, to take a guess. No, I'm afraid that's tachyons. You can tell you haven't been watching Star Trek. They're always talking about tachyons. All right. Very good. Great. So that's, I think, we go on now to second toss-up. Streamer Socks for One modded this game to add a janitor who can morph into other characters. Players in this game must press the numbers 1 through 10 in order during the Unlock Manifolds task. Sorry, go ahead, Charleston.
Among Us.
Among Us is the game. The game that I played for the first time, probably the last time, last year during the pandemic. Although I enjoy playing with students, I don't generally like killing them. All right, so Among Us, 10 points, and you get the first crack at these bonus questions. For 10 points each, answer the following about Massachusetts Senator Henry Cabot Lodge, Jr. Lodge was the campaign manager of this former World War II general who was elected president in 1952.
Dwight D. Eisenhower.
That's correct. Lodge later led the US delegation that signed the 1973 peace accords named for this city that tried to end the Vietnam War.
Paris.
Paris is correct. Lodge's grandfather, who was also a senator named Henry Cabot Lodge, led the opposition to the US joining this organization, which was founded in 1920.
League of Nations.
That is correct. A nice clean sweep for Charleston. Congratulations. Right, on to our next toss-up question. This city's police chief, William Parker, oversaw the creation of the first police department SWAT team. Riots broke out in this city in 1992 after police officers were acquitted for beating Rodney King. Mattoon.
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles is correct. So you have the first crack at these next 3 bonus questions. A child with this surname addresses Mr. Cunningham, which calms an angry mob. For 10 points each, give the surname of 2 children in a 20th century American novel. They are attacked on Halloween, but saved by Boo Radley. Answer?
Finch.
Finch is correct. The Finch family appears in this 1960 novel by Harper Lee.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
That is correct. This is the surname of Bob, a character who attacks the Finch children after their father defends an African-American man who is accused of assaulting Bob's daughter, Mayella. Answer? No. Charleston, can rebound?
Euler.
I'm afraid it wasn't Euler, it was UL. You were close, but I can't accept Euler. All right, so well done, Mattoon, on that bonus round. On to the next toss-up question. This integer denotes wind speeds of 28 to 33 knots on the Beaufort scale. This is the number of cervical vertebrae in humans. It is the mass number of the most stable isotope of lithium, as well as the atomic number of nitrogen. Charleston?
5.
No, I'm afraid that's incorrect. For 10 points, Mattoon, give this number the fourth prime number. Answer?
11.
I'm afraid it's 7. All right, so we go on to our next toss-up question. This country's town of Yelling also contains 2 namesake runestones describing its ancient history. The Faroe Islands are controlled by this country, which occupies...
Denmark.
Charleston, yes, the answer is Denmark. So the next toss-up, Charleston has the first crack at these 3 questions. This piece's C section ends with a downward chromatic run to return to the A section. For 10 points each, name this short solo piano piece from 1810 that begins with the right hand playing alternating E and D sharp 16th notes.
For Elise.
It is Fiorelisa. Good. Fiorelisa is by this composer, whose Ode to Joy is also commonly taught to piano students.
Beethoven.
Beethoven is correct. Finally, another widely learned Beethoven piece is the Piano Sonata No. 14, an adagio composition better known by the name of this natural phenomenon.
Moonlight.
Moonlight is correct, the Moonlight Sonata. Well done, Charleston. All right, the next toss-up. A novel by this author includes religious poems called calypsos, which were composed by a man named Bokonon. In a novel by this author, Montana Wildhack is exhibited in an alien zoo on Tralfamadore, along with Billy Pilgrim. For 10 points, who wrote Cat's Cradle and Mattoon?
Vonnegut.
Yes, it was Kurt Vonnegut. So Mattoon, you have the first crack at these next 3 bonus questions. This character's fear of snakes dates to a boyhood encounter with grave robbers at a Utah national park. For 10 points each, name this whip-wielding archaeologist played on film by Harrison Ford.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones is correct. The PG-13 rating was introduced due to the violence in this second Indiana Jones film, in which a man has his heart removed from his chest.
Temple of Doom.
That is correct. This actress played a Soviet agent in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. She also played Hela in Thor, Ragnarok.
Angelina Jolie.
That is incorrect. Charleston? Answer? Need an answer?
Anne Hathaway.
I'm afraid it was Cate Blanchett. Okay, let's go for the toss-up. Next toss-up. For a capacitor, this quantity equals the stored charge divided by the capacitance. This quantity has units of energy per unit charge, just like an EMF. The difference in electric potential between 2 points is, for 10 points... Yes, Charleston.
Volt.
Need something slightly different from that?
Voltage.
Voltage, that's correct. All right. Then you have the first crack at the next set of bonus questions. This country's absolute monarch resides at the Light of Faith Palace on the outskirts of its capital, Bandar Seri Begawan, for 10 points each. Name this small Southeast Asian country, a sultanate estimated to have no public debt. Brunei is correct. Brunei shares this island with Malaysia and the 5 Kalimantan provinces of Indonesia.
Borneo.
Borneo is correct. Brunei's economy is heavily based on the export of this commodity, sometimes referred to as black gold.
Oil.
Oil is correct. I didn't have to use the Texas tea. All right. So the next toss-up. Squinches and pendentives allow these architectural elements to be added to square rooms. The largest brick example of these structures was designed by Filippo Brunelleschi for the Florence Cathedral. Rotundas are found beneath. Yes,
Domes.
that's correct, Charleston. Domes. Next toss-up for Charleston. First, or rather bonus, I'm sorry, set of bonuses. This group was named for using the highest seats in the National Assembly. For 10 points each, name this party during the French Revolution that overlapped with the more radical wing of the Jacobins and violently suppressed the more moderate Girondins.
The Mountain.
The Mountain is correct. The Mountain's foremost leader was this member of the Committee of Public Safety, who was executed in 1794.
Robespierre.
Robespierre is correct. Robespierre's death traditionally marks the end of this period of extreme bloodshed during the Revolution.
The Reign of Terror.
The Reign of Terror is correct. You know your French Revolution. Well done, Charleston. Okay, next toss-up. At the end of this novel, the protagonist discovers that Biddy has married the blacksmith Joe Gargery. This novel's protagonist discovers that his benefactor is the convict, Abel Magwitch, rather than Miss Havisham. For 10 points each, Mattoon.
Great Expectations.
Great Expectations is the novel by Dickens. Well done. All right, so Mattoon has the first crack at this set of bonus questions. A shape-shifting creature in this novel is born from a magic stone. For 10 points each, name this novel by Wu Cheng'en, in which Sun Wukong helps a monk on a mission to seek some Buddhist scriptures.
Journey to the West.
Journey to the West is correct, thank you. Journey to the West, like Dream of the Red Chamber, is one of this country's 4 classic novels.
China.
China is correct. Another companion on the monk's journey is a creature who resembles one of these animals and wields a 9-toothed rake.
A pig.
Correct. Excellent. I didn't know any of those. Well done. All right. Next toss-up. This man fled to France after refusing to sign the Constitution of Clarendon. According to legend, the query, "Will no one rid me of this turbulent priest?" led to this man's murder. In 1170, knights working for Henry II killed for 10 points. Which are... Yes, Mattoon.
Thomas Becket.
Thomas Becket is correct. So, Mattoon, you have the first go at these bonus questions. The ball used by the American Basketball Association featured these 3 colors. For 10 points each, name these colors that also make up the flag of Russia.
Blue, red, and white.
That's correct. This island state is one of the world's only countries without red, white, or blue in its flag. This country is governed from Kingston.
Jamaica.
Jamaica is correct. In 2017, this West African country added 2 red stripes to its green and gold flag. Nouakchott, the capital of this country, I'll repeat that. Nouakchott is the capital of this country where slavery still exists.
Mauritania.
Mauritania is correct. Well done. All right, next toss-up. This artist's painting, House by the Railroad, inspired the design of the Bates house in the film Psycho. This artist of Office at Night, painting a woman in a red blouse sitting at a bar, as seen through the large window of a diner at night. For 10 points, name this painter of Nighthawks. Charleston.
Hopper.
Hopper is correct, Edward Hopper. All right, now we have a computational bonus, so pencil and paper ready. Charleston will have the first crack at this, but you guys can also steal, or rebound, I guess is the term. For 10 points each, answer these questions about an unfair coin that, when flipped, shows heads 2/3 of the time. What is the probability that a coin flip will show tails?
1/3.
1/3 is correct. If the coin is flipped twice, what is the probability of getting 1 heads and 1 tails if order does not matter? You have 10 seconds.
2 out of 9.
2 out of 9 is not correct. Mattoon? Need an answer?
1/2.
No, it is 4 out of 9. We can explain that during the break if you're interested. The probability of getting any number of heads or tails in n flips is given by what distribution? Polynomials with 2 terms have this name.
Binomial.
Binomial is correct. Very good. Okay. So on to the next toss-up. This process is aided by proteins known as heat shock proteins. This process, which begins while translation occurs, can be undone by high salt concentrations in denaturation. For 10 points, what process in which proteins achieve their active forms has been compared to origami? Yes?
Translation?
No, I'm afraid it's not translation. Charleston? Need an answer? Oh, sorry. Protein folding is correct. All right, so you have the first crack, Charleston, at these next 3 bonus questions. William McLaughlin argued that progressivism grew from a third of these periods. For 10 points each, name these periods of American religious fervor, the first of which was led by colonial-era preachers such as Jonathan Edwards.
The Protestant Revival.
No, I'm afraid that's not correct. Mattoon?
The Great Awakenings?
The Great Awakenings is correct. In the Second Great Awakening, an area of this state was called the Burned Over District. Mormonism began near Rochester in this state.
New York.
New York is correct. Finally, most Great Awakening preachers followed the theology of this predestinationist who led the Geneva Reformation.
John Calvin.
Calvin is correct. Well done. All right, on to our next toss-up question. A novel in this language describes a silver dish that falls on the floor and is discarded at a feast given by the freedman Trimalchio. Satires in this language comment on bread and circuses. Mattoon.
Latin?
Latin is correct. So you're next. You have the first crack at these next 3 bonus questions. For 10 points each, answer the following about winter. The Winter Palace in St. Petersburg contains this museum, one of the largest art museums in the world.
The Hermitage?
The Hermitage Museum, correct. Pizzicato strings represent icy rain in this Italian composer's Winter, the last section of the 4 seasons.
Vivaldi?
Vivaldi is correct. Finally, the title character marries Maxim de Winter, who is obsessed with his dead first wife in Rebecca, a novel by this woman. She wrote the story on which the movie The Birds is based. Answer? No, I'm afraid that's time on there. Charleston?
No answer.
No answer. It was Daphne du Maurier. Definitely worth a read. That is half time. All right. So let's have a round of applause for our teams. Congratulations. Okay, so welcome back to the second half of our annual Coles County Clash Scholastic Bowl edition. We've had a very close first half. As you can see from the scores, it's still anyone's game. The teams have made some substitutions, so I will just ask the new players from the 2 teams just to introduce themselves and test their buzzers. We'll start this time with Mattoon. Go ahead, new folks.
Eli Hahn.
Welcome, Eli.
Keenan Kirsch.
Welcome, Keenan. And in Charleston?
Sydney McCormick, and my favorite kids show is Law and Order SVU.
What are your parents thinking? All right.
My name is Elena Satula, and my favorite kids show is American Horror Story.
Fair enough. Okay. Go ahead. Is it not working? Just share.
Here you go.
Hi, I'm William Reynolds, a freshman. My favorite kids' TV show is Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad, excellent. I was just waiting for Dora the Explorer. All right. Clearly I'm behind the times. Thank God. All right. So, we begin our second 20-minute half with a computational question. So, pen and paper ready? 30 seconds to work this out. Jody needs to know the cotangent of the third quadrant angle x. Given that the sine of x is negative 5/13 and the cosine of x is negative 12/13, by computing some ratio of the sine and cosine, she finds, for 10 points, what cotangent of x? Sorry, Charleston, go ahead.
12 over 5.
12 over 5 is correct. How you got that? You can explain to us later. All right. The bonus marks. Well done. The bonus questions then go to Charleston first for 10 points each. Name these acoustic phenomena. An acoustic wave that travels along the surface of a solid is named for this British scientist, who also lends his name to a type of scattering responsible for the blue color of the sky. Answer?
No answer.
No answer. Mattoon?
Newton?
I'm afraid it wasn't Newton, it was Lord Rayleigh. All right, back to Charleston then for this one. This phenomenon, often pronounced in namesake chambers, involves sounds being reflected by surfaces.
Echo.
Echo is correct. In this phenomenon, sound waves are amplified because they match the natural frequency of a vibration system, of vibration of a system. Answer?
Resonance?
I'm sorry, I need one answer. Go ahead.
Resonance?
Resonance is correct. All right. Okay, next toss-up. The first of these ceremonies was conducted by Robert Livingston in New York's Federal Hall. These events moved from March to January per the 20th Amendment. Charleston.
Presidential inauguration.
That's correct. All right, so next set of bonus questions. Goes to Charleston first. Many creations of this type in Pompeii were preserved by the eruption of Vesuvius. For 10 points each, name this Italian-derived term for street art made on public surfaces, modern examples of which are often created with spray paint.
Graffiti.
Graffiti is correct. In the 1970s and 1980s, graffiti artists Keith Haring and Jean-Michel Basquiat were based in this U.S. city.
Harlem.
I'm afraid that's incorrect.
New York City?
New York City is correct. Harlem is part of New York City, but it is not the city itself. The history of street art, including graffiti, is presented in this 2010 documentary film by British street artist Banksy. I need an answer.
No answer.
And Mattoon? You'll have to get it on your Netflix viewing list. It's called Exit Through the Gift Shop. All right, next toss-up. At the end of a story by this man, Scratchy Wilson holsters his revolvers after learning that the man he wanted to shoot has gotten married. The author of The Bride Comes to Yellow Sky wrote a novel about Civil War Private Henry Fleming for 10 points. Who wrote The Red Badge of Courage? Answer? Don't know Stephen Crane. All right, so we go on to the next toss-up. A person of this name who has expressed explicitly his contempt for matrimony is told, "Marry me," in a song by Alves. A fictional person with this first name sings, "Honey, honey, you are my candy girl." For 10 points, "Sugar, Sugar" is by a cartoon band led... Mattoon.
Archie?
Archie is correct. Right, so the next set of bonuses go first to Mattoon. Lord Henry Wotton tells this character the only way to get rid of a temptation is to yield to it. For 10 points each, name this title character who engages in debauchery while remaining physically unchanged.
Dr. Jekyll?
No, I'm afraid that's incorrect. Charleston?
Dorian Gray.
Dorian Gray is correct. The Picture of Dorian Gray is a novel by this Irish satirist.
Wilde?
Oscar Wilde is correct. Wilde wrote The Picture of Dorian Gray after receiving a commission from editor J.M. Stoddart at an 1889 dinner. During the same meal, Stoddart also commissioned this author's book, The Sign of the Four. Answer? No. Go to Charleston.
No answer.
It was Conan Doyle, the first Sherlock Holmes series. A good period for literature, the 1890s. All right, next we have the next toss-up. This war included the naval battle of Chemulpo Bay and the Battle of Mattoon. This war began with a surprise attack at Port Arthur and ended after Mattoon.
The Russo-Japanese War?
It was the Russo-Japanese War, that is correct. All right, Mattoon, you have the first crack at the next set of bonus questions. A 1978 disco hit describes this man as Russia's greatest love machine. Yes, that is correct. That is the answer to the first bonus question, even though I had not actually read any of the bonus question. You got lucky there. All right. Rasputin is the villain of this 1997 animated film, whose title princess was long rumored to have escaped the execution of the Russian royal family.
Anastasia?
Anastasia is correct. This member of the X-Men is a descendant of Rasputin, who has super strength and an alternate metallic form.
Colossus?
Colossus is correct. Well done. All right. Next, we have our next toss-up. This material, when heated to extremely high temperatures, can cause a namesake flu in humans and birds. This polymer, built from C2F4 monomers, has one of the lowest coefficients of friction of any material. For 10 points, what material is commonly found in non-stick cookware? Charleston.
Teflon.
Teflon is correct. For 10 points each, name these Scientologists. This star of Top Gun and the Mission Impossible series is a leading advocate for Scientology.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise is correct, Charleston. This Scientologist actress played Peggy Olson in Mad Men and stars as Offred in The Handmaid's Tale. Didn't answer?
No answer.
Okay, and Mattoon? No answer there either. It is Elizabeth Moss. Finally, back to Charleston. This experimental singer behind the albums Odelay and Morning Phase has been a Scientologist since childhood. Answer?
Grimes.
No, I'm afraid that's incorrect. Answer? No, it is Beck. Those of you in the audience who can remember Beck, you can now feel old. All right. This figure demonstrates that virtue cannot be taught. This is a toss-up, I'm sorry. This virtue demonstrates that virtue cannot be taught by asking a slave questions about geometry. The speaker says, the unexamined life is not worth living, while on trial for corrupting the youth of Athens. Pretend... Charleston.
Socrates.
It is Socrates, yes. Next set of bonuses then to Charleston first. For 10 points each, answer the following about bones in the head. This bone, inferior to the maxilla, forms the lower jaw.
Mandible.
The mandible is correct. 3 tiny bones called the ossicles are in the middle part of this organ.
Ear.
The ear is correct. This cranial bone makes up the lower back portion of the skull, near its namesake lobe of the brain. Answer? No. Over to Mattoon, you can rebound.
Cranial.
No, I'm afraid it's the occipital bone. Okay, back to toss-ups now. In a 2020 Senate election in this state, the Libertarian Ricky Dale Harrington Jr. finished second, while no... Mattoon.
Arkansas?
Arkansas is correct. Okay, on then to the next set of bonuses. First to Mattoon. This thoroughfare is sometimes named after Cumberland, Maryland, the town at its eastern end. For 10 points each, in 1811, construction began on what first major U.S. interstate highway?
Interstate 70.
No, it's a good guess, but I'm afraid that's not correct. Charleston?
The Pennsylvania Turnpike?
No, it is the National Road, or the National Turnpike. The National Road was an overland link between the Potomac and this other river. In 1788, Cincinnati was founded on this river's banks.
Ohio?
The Ohio River, correct. Finally, the National Road eventually grew to reach Vandalia, which was the first capital of this Midwestern state until 1839, when it was replaced by Springfield.
Illinois?
Good guess. All right. Yes, if you hadn't got that one, I don't know. All right, well done. Okay, next toss-up. A play from this country depicts the solidarity of a village named Sheepwell. In a novel from this country, a priest and a barber burn the books of a would-be knight.
Spain?
Spain is correct. All right, next set of bonuses, rather. First to Mattoon. Manning Marable was posthumously awarded the 2012 Pulitzer Prize for his history for a biography of this man. For 10 points each, name this black activist who was gunned down in the Audubon Ballroom in 1965.
Malcolm X?
Malcolm X is correct. Malcolm X collaborated on the autobiography of Malcolm X with this author, who wrote about Kunta Kinte in the novel Roots. An answer? Okay, I'm afraid I'm going to go back over to Charleston for the rebound.
No answer.
No answer. It was Alex Haley. Great novel, by the way. The Diary of Malcolm X, which was published in 2014, in part chronicles Malcolm X's undertaking of this Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca.
The Hajj?
The Hajj is correct. Very good. All right, back to our toss-up question. Coach can call a timeout. Okay, we have a timeout. All right, so without further ado, let's just have our new Charleston players introduce themselves. Go ahead. You chose the wrong microphone, sorry.
Wait, does it work? Yeah.
You're fine.
I'm Kaylee Schaefer, and my favorite kids movie or show is Shameless.
Okay.
I'm Madison Beal, and my favorite kids movie is A Clockwork Orange.
Oh, yeah. It's great for the tots. All right. Okay. Very good. Then we will resume. Thank you, new Charleston players. We will resume from our next toss-up question, starting now. This organism was the first eukaryote to have its whole genome sequenced. Go ahead, Charleston.
Fruit fly?
I'm afraid that's incorrect. I'll continue reading the question. This organism, a genetic model, can reproduce either sexually or by budding and converts sugars into carbon dioxide and ethanol during fermentation. For 10 points, go ahead, Mattoon.
Yeast?
Yeast is correct. All right, Mattoon, you have the first crack at these bonus questions. This city's northern suburbs include Round Rock and Cedar Park. For 10 points each, name this state capital. A flagship state university in this city is the site of Lyndon B. Johnson Presidential Library.
Austin?
Austin is correct. Austin is the capital of this state.
Texas?
Texas is correct. Austin, Texas is on the banks of a river with this name. A different river with this name was dammed to form Lake Mead.
Rio Bravo?
No, I'm afraid that's incorrect. Charleston? I guess? No, I'm afraid.
Red River?
No, it's the Colorado River. All right, we'll work on your Texas geography. Okay, very good. Let's go on to our next toss-up question then. Miners killed 28 people of this ethnicity in the Rock Springs Massacre. The 1868 Burlingame Treaty regulated these people's immigration. Go ahead, Mattoon.
Chinese?
Chinese is correct. All right, next toss-up. This king became heir to another country's throne after he... Sorry, not next toss-up, next bonus, I apologize. This king became heir to another country's throne after he married Catherine of Valois. For 10 points each, Mattoon, name this English king who led his troops to victory at Agincourt during the 100 Years' War.
Henry II.
No, that's incorrect. Charleston? Take a guess.
Henry IV.
Getting closer. Henry V. All right. England fought the 100 Years' War against this other European kingdom.
France.
France. They're always fighting with France, unless it's Germany. All right. Catherine of Valois was the daughter of a French king with this name. An English king with this name took the throne in 1660 and was called the Merry Monarch.
James.
No, I'm afraid it's not James. Charleston? Take a guess?
William.
It was Charles. Okay, you chose two good surnames, but you didn't get quite the right one. Never mind. On to the next toss-up. This country borders the exclave of Musandam. Its capital contains the Sheikh Zayed Mosque, while its most populous city is home to the Burj Khalifa. Mattoon.
The United Arab Emirates.
It is the United Arab Emirates, correct. So you're next set of bonus questions. Many of this constellation's brightest stars form the Northern Cross, an important navigational asterism. For 10 points each, name this constellation that depicts a swan. Answer? No answer there. Charleston?
Cygnus.
Cygnus is correct. This star, which forms the head of the Northern Cross, is the brightest star in Cygnus.
The North Star.
No, that's incorrect. Charleston? No, it's Alpha Cygni or Deneb. Finally, Deneb forms the summer triangle with Altair and this brightest star in the constellation Lyra. It is the fifth brightest star in the night sky. Take a guess. Time?
The North Star.
Keep guessing that star, but nope.
Beetlejuice.
It is Vega. All right. Okay. We're going to have another timeout. Okay, we won't start the time until we've had a chance to introduce the new players, or rather have them introduce themselves. This time we'll start with Mattoon, since you didn't bring on some new players at the break, but go ahead, Mattoon, ring yourselves in and introduce yourselves. New players.
My name's Charles Stark.
Thank you, Charles.
My name's Trinity Crow.
Welcome. That was just the two of you, right? Yes. Okay. And then over to Charleston, and new players can introduce yourselves.
My name is Daniel Chinchilla, and my favorite kids show is also Breaking Bad.
Oh, excellent. Can you just ring your buzzer just to make sure we've got it working there? There we go. Super. Thank you. Oops, there you go.
My name is Josie Worley, and my favorite kids' TV show is Doctor Who.
Good choice. Well, you were here before, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other new people? No, you were here. Right. Good. Sorry. I'm both old and you're all wearing masks. So forgive my lack of knowledge or lack of memory of that. All right. Without further ado, then, we will conclude. Both teams having taken their one allowed break, we will now run through to the end of our second half in this closely fought game. So we are going to start with the next toss-up, so buzzers at the ready. The strength of these bonds can be measured by finding the lattice energy of a Born-Haber cycle. These bonds usually form between a non-metal and metal with a high electronegativity. Mattoon.
Ionic bonds.
Ionic bonds is correct. So you have the first crack at these bonus questions. This English author was stepsister of Claire Clairmont, who gave birth to an illegitimate daughter of Lord Byron. For 10 points each, name this author of speculative fiction who received a liberal education from her father, the philosopher William Godwin. Answer? No answer there. Go ahead, Charleston.
No answer.
No answer. It was Mary Shelley. Mary Shelley's mother, Mary Wollstonecraft, wrote a 1792 vindication of the rights of this title group of people? Answer? No answer from Mattoon. Charleston? No guesses?
Women.
Women is correct. All right. And so that leads us to the last of these bonus questions. Shelley's intellectual upbringing influenced her composition of this 1818 novel about a scientist who creates a monster.
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein is correct. All right. Next toss-up. This character says that the good people do is oft interred within their bones. While giving a funeral speech for murdered friends, this man asks his audience, "Lend me your ears." For 10 points, what character gives the friends Romans countrymen speech? Mattoon.
Julius Caesar.
No, that's incorrect. I'll finish the question. No, I won't. Or rather, I will finish the question, right, because we're at time. The friends Romans countrymen speech in Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. Which character?
Bruticus.
I'm afraid it is not. It is, in fact, Mark Antony. And as a result, we do not go on to the bonus questions, and that is time. And so, you know the score. I have to figure it out. It looks like 410 for Mattoon and 350 for Charleston. Congratulations, Mattoon, on winning this edition of the Coles County Clash. Thank you to both teams, to the coaches, to the families of the team members and competitors. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow night at the lesser-known football edition of the Coles County Clash, which does have padding, but not quite so much scintillating knowledge as these teammates on both sides have exhibited this evening. Very proud to have been moderating. Let's have one more round of applause for the folks on the stage and the teammates in the audience. All right, thank you very much.